what are the easiest ways to raise your vibration? And so I made a list of different things that have helped me over time. And sometimes it's not easy to raise your vibration. Sometimes it can really take some work to get your vibration back up if something traumatic or difficult has happened for you. But I'll go through the ones that I think are the most helpful and the most quick, since that was the question. The first thing that comes to my mind is when we smile, we use different muscles than when we're sad or when we're upset. We send a different signal to our nervous system when we use muscles of smiling versus muscles of fear or anxiety or anger. And so that sends a signal to the nervous system that we're safe. And the nervous system, it's really hard to raise our vibration if our nervous system is in a state of disarray or if we're in fight, flight, or freeze mode. So simply smiling, which can be very hard to do when your vibration is low. I've been there. But you can fake it because remember, you're using different muscles. And when you do that, you send a different signal to your nervous system, partly because you start to secrete a different set of hormones when you do that. The other thing that you could add to that would be holding the temples on the outside of your eyebrows here. We should all have pulses. If you push too hard, you won't feel it. But you can practice finding where these pulse points are on the outside of your eyebrows. When we get stressed out, I learned in energy medicine classes that we lose like 80% of the blood flow to the front of our brain. And that makes it very hard to raise our vibration if we're in a state of lower brain activation, so to speak. So we're all electromagnetic. And so when we hold our hands here, or you could put one hand on the front of your head and one hand on the back of your head, will achieve the same thing. Because we're all electromagnetic, we bring blood back to the front of our brain when we do that. So take a few deep breaths, smile, even if it's a fake smile, and put your hands on your head, either on the side of your temples or one hand in front and one in the back, and hold that for 6 breaths and see what happens there. We need energy, we need water for energy to conduct. Sometimes it can be as simple as drinking some water, like a quart of water can really change how I'm feeling sometimes. If I've gone for too long without having water, like I worked all day and I didn't get enough water in, and I wake up the next day and I'm feeling kind of blah. I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I drink a quart of water, it almost always will make me feel a little more zippy. And that will help you. Like all these little things that you can combine will create a bigger effect than any one little thing. There is something called the daily energy routine, which is by someone named Donna Eden. She has a program of energy medicine, and there are many different examples of her daily energy routine. The one I like the best is demonstrated by a woman named Prune Harris, and she's on YouTube. You could look up Donna Eden's daily energy routine and look for Prune Harris's version. And that energy routine, it does a lot for your energy system, but it will raise your vibration to get all of those energies moving and start to get them balanced. It's called the daily energy routine because it works best when you do it daily. And you may not notice it at first, so it may be one of those things that takes a little longer, but I would definitely say try it. If you're quickly trying to raise your vibration, do it and see if that helps. I would think it would. Watching something funny, connecting with a person who can help talk you through it, whatever is keeping your vibration down. Sometimes you may not know. Sometimes though that if you just turn on a funny show, even if you're not crazy about it, you just see other people laughing, it can be contagious. If you could go to an environment where people are happy, we know that the vibrations of our hearts are contagious. And so if we end up in a place where people are laughing, we're more likely going to feel good. If we're connected with people who are in a room or constantly in communication with people who are negative, our vibration is going to be low. So I guess that leads me to the next part is disconnect from negative vibration situations as best you can. That is not always possible because sometimes we have to work with those people. Sometimes they're our family members. In those cases, I have to try to have a higher perspective about what's happening. So that's a very quick way now for me to raise my vibration. It wasn't in the beginning, but if you can cultivate a practice of what I'm going to explain here, it can be a quick way to raise your vibration. So what I started doing was in every situation that either made me mad or made me upset or made me scared, I wanted to blame another person, I would try to see it from another perspective. And the easiest example I can give you is if like somebody's driving like a maniac on the interstate and they cut me off in traffic, my first response, is going to be anger probably or fear. And I may even want to react towards that person, but I realize that those thoughts and those reactions are not helping the situation and just bringing negative energy to my field. So instead, what I would start to do is be like, okay, maybe they have a good reason for speeding and driving like this today. Maybe, they're bleeding somewhere and they have to get to the hospital in a hurry. Maybe today is the last day that they can be late for work, or they lose their job and they're homeless. And so it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's just that mere looking at it from another perspective. Is it possible this could be happening? Takes you out of that fear, anger mode. And when you build a practice of looking at every difficult situation from a higher perspective, okay, she's acting that way because she just doesn't understand the situation. She doesn't understand how she comes off to other people. She doesn't understand she's hurting other people's feelings. If you can see it, every situation that's difficult from a higher perspective, then when you get into a state of lower vibration because something difficult happened to you, you have that practice established and you can go there pretty easily. It's not easy in the beginning, I'm not going to lie. It wasn't for me. And sometimes it's still a little bit hard depending on what's going on, but it definitely does get easier. Listening to the Sanskrit language is a high vibration language, and listening to Sanskrit music can really raise your vibration pretty quickly. I listen to Hindi and Sanskrit music on a an app called Pandora. I don't know if any of you who will hear this have that app, but it's a radio station on there called Chanting Radio, and they play a lot of Hindi and Sanskrit music there, and it does raise your vibration pretty well to do that. Also, listening to something called binaural beats. There's a technology called HemiSync, which it syncs the two hemispheres of your brain, can really raise your vibration pretty well as well. And so you can go to the HemiSync website, and there's all kinds of different meditations and binaural beats you can listen to. And that website is HEMI hyphen SYNC.com. There's more on there than what I can even look at. I have several things from them. And so those binaural beats or hemisync technology, you use earbuds and the sounds go into your ears differently. It won't work if you're not using earbuds or headphones. You can't just use a speaker because it changes your brain waves when you listen to this, the way that it goes in and connects with the auditory nerve. So if you could download some binaural beats, that could be a pretty good way to start to raise your vibration as well. Taking a shower. Water is a crystal, liquid crystal. We're liquid crystals. We're solid crystals. Water is cleansing. And so if you're able to take a shower and wash that, try to wash some of that lower vibration off with your intention, that can be helpful. Going outside and putting your bare feet on the ground. Sometimes our vibration gets low because we're not grounded, because we literally aren't connected to those electrons coming out of the earth, and our system can get reversed. Our polarity can get reversed. The North and the South Pole are negative and positive ends. And when that happens, energy doesn't flow through us freely, and we get depressed and we get anxious. So what's been shown in the studies is if you put your bare feet on grass, sand, um, even unpainted concrete would work. Asphalt won't work. Bricks would work if they're not painted. You can connect with the Earth's energy, those electrons that are coming out of the Earth. And the studies have shown that 30 minutes really makes a big impact on people's energy, not just mental health, but also it decreases inflammation, increases wound healing time, or decreases wound healing time, and has a myriad of other benefits. So getting grounded and disconnecting from your phone and other man-made electromagnetic frequencies can be really pivotal in raising your vibration. When we're constantly connected to social media, to even just the vibrations of the phone and the computer on a near constant basis, I mean, almost everyone I meet has their phone in their pocket. That will lower your vibration over time, and it's cumulative. So disconnecting from that as much as possible. Don't sleep with that phone next to you. I turn mine off if I'm not using it. It's on airplane mode. It's not good for us to be around that all the time. So movement, moving the body, that's partly the daily energy routine, but even just taking a walk or doing some sort of exercise can help move the fascia system and raise your vibration. Repeating a mantra like all is well, I am love, thank you. When we, Dr. Emoto did that work with water, and many people are repeating it, but we are two-thirds water. And when we speak, think, or when we speak or think a high vibration mantra to water, that water forms high vibration, intricate, beautiful crystals. And when we speak or think something negative to that water, it forms something not organized and somewhat chaotic. And so when we can constantly or consistently, I should say, use high vibration mantras, we're reprogramming our water to be a higher vibration. It's so simple. And you don't necessarily have to feel it at first. If you know you're in a bad mood or someone really hurt you, and you smile and close your eyes, put your hands on your head and start saying thank you over and over again, you're starting that repatterning of your water. And that really does matter. If you can engage yourself with some sort of spiritual information, something empowering, a person speaking light language, or a person talking about our divinity as humans, a person talking about a near-death experience that they came back from and found out, some meaning about why we were here. If you can expose yourself to some of that kind of information, then that could as well raise your vibration. The more I connect in with that stuff, the higher my vibration is.